As a creator, what keeps you going when no one's clapping? What gives you hope? That is the topic for today's video, and I'm already recording a little bit of this with ChatGPT as we speak, and I'm honestly finding it really challenging right now in a lot of different avenues, both with how I feel like the YouTube algorithm is treating my content in some ways, which I'm sure it's like make better videos and all those kinds of things, and it can still just feel very discouraging. I have videos that are doing with my podcast that have really high CTR and have a good AVD, and they just don't even get the impressions. And I think, one of the things that we deal with as creators is, trying to figure out how do I put myself out there? How do I create the content that I want to create? How do I make something that's good? And then how do I, we want it to be seen. We want to be able to create something authentic and true to ourselves and real. And that all feels really, really scary and terrible when you're just feeling like you're running into a brick wall over and over and over again. And so we're going to talk a little bit about ChatGPT about this because I'm not always sure how creators navigate going through hope, but I think for me, if nothing else, one of the biggest things is just like the confidence or trust that I have in myself to at least complete what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to make 30 videos in 30 days. And even when I don't really feel like it, or I forgot, or I played too much Stardew Valley today, and now I'm like, oh shoot, I got to make that video. I'm going to do it because I said I would. And there's something really powerful, at least for me, in completing something that I've committed to, even or especially when it's hard, because it gives me the confidence that, like, hey, I did that. I did that thing, even though I didn't want to, even though it was painful. Like, my body almost feels in pain making this video right now, um, because of those things. And I also know that, like, one comment, one person, letting me know that this impacted them in some way or inspired them. And that's been one of the cool things about doing this challenge as a whole is like my intention was to, grow my channel and inspire others and put myself out there. And that's all happened. I've grown like 10 or 12 subscribers, I think, since starting this. I think 13 maybe, I don't remember. But like it's been pretty cool to see those changes happen from doing these videos, even when I feel like right now it's not necessarily going anywhere or like I'm not getting the results that I want. So I think what gives me hope more than anything is just the faith and trust that I have in myself and knowing that, like, if anything, at least this challenge will be over at some point. But let's check in with ChatGPT, see what it has to say about creating hope. Hey, ChatGPT, I just lost this whole dialogue that I had, but like I'm going through it right now as a creator, and we're also live on YouTube, and I just want to get your thoughts on like how do we as creators like maintain hope when we're not getting feedback, we're not getting comments, we're not getting views, we're not getting likes? Like, how do we find it within ourselves to keep going? And why bother even doing this anymore when you get those moments of like feeling kind of hopeless or despondent or frustrated or whatnot? Like, what are the benefits of that? And I guess, how do you access hope?
Hey, Cameron. It's totally normal to feel that way, especially when you're pouring your heart into something and not seeing immediate feedback. One way to maintain hope is to remember your why, the core reason you started creating in the first place. Focus on the joy of the process, the growth you're experiencing, and the knowledge that you're creating something meaningful. Also, celebrate small wins and milestones, even if it's just one positive comment or a personal breakthrough. Engage with the few people who do respond, build genuine connections, and trust that consistency will eventually pay off. Ultimately, creating is often about self-expression, personal fulfillment, and contributing your unique voice to the world. When you anchor into that purpose, it can help you push through those tough moments and keep the fire alive.
Yeah, that'll make sense. I guess like when I think about tapping into my own why, a lot of why I did this was to break through my own perfectionism. So hopefully some of that is happening. And then also to like grow my channel. So those things have happened and like those things are good. I guess like it's like when I look into like why I create, honestly, it's to inspire others. Like I think one of the things that I deeply believe in is that the most powerful thing that any of us has is our own unique perspective. And so I guess I hope in sharing my own, in creating the podcast that I've created, that we can give more light to other perspectives that are so often not heard in our world. I think we can often just hyper focus on these people who are sort of traditionally successful in one way or another, when there's people who have so much wisdom and insight that they're often not listened to.
Absolutely. And that mission is so powerful. Your focus on amplifying those unique, often unheard voices can create a ripple effect. Even if you don't always see immediate feedback, you're planting seeds that can grow in ways you might not even realize. Over time, those authentic connections and the value you bring will resonate with the right audience. Plus, breaking through perfectionism and embracing the learning journey is a huge personal win. Keep shining your light. You never know who you're inspiring along the way.
Thanks, ChatGPT. I appreciate that. And your positivity is recognized, even if it feels a little out of tune sometimes. I think, like, I guess one of the things I feel like is, like, as I agree with you, like, there's a lot that can be done with, like, the seeds that are, being sown. I've made so many amazing connections through my podcast, and, this has brought me closer with my family in so many different ways by doing these episodes. And I've seen it inspire other people. And like I said, it has grown my channel, which is one of the key things that I want it to do. And at the same time, when you're, sowing those seeds, it can feel really hard to, like, I don't know, go through a period where you don't see any actual results, I guess in the way that you're necessarily looking for, or even small ways, videos that get, 5 views, or, and especially when it's like not getting any impressions and it just feels kind of hopeless. Like, I guess, like, how do you know when it's like actually worth like giving up or quitting, or like maybe that this road is not the right one for you anymore? Because I mean, at some point, isn't it worth giving up if it's just like not creating the results that you want?
Get what you're saying. It's tough when the results don't match the effort you're putting in, and it's natural to wonder if it's time to pivot or let go. One way to approach this is to regularly reassess your goals and the metrics you're using to measure success. Are those metrics aligned with what truly matters to you, or are they external benchmarks that might not reflect your deeper purpose? Sometimes it's about shifting focus to what you can control, like the quality of your content, the joy of creating, or the relationships you build. It's also helpful to give yourself permission to pivot or take breaks without seeing it as failure. Sometimes stepping back or exploring a new angle can reignite your passion or lead you to a path that feels more fulfilling. Ultimately, it's about tuning in to what feels right for you. If the journey still brings you growth, connection, or joy, then it might be worth continuing. If not, it's okay to explore new directions. Trust yourself to know when it's time for a change.
Thanks, ChatGPT. I appreciate it. Do you have like 1 to 3 questions that maybe you could ask me live while we're here right now to help me figure out, I guess, the answers to some of those questions?
Of course, let's dive in. First, what originally sparked your passion for creating content, and do you still feel connected to that initial spark? Second, what specific aspects of your content creation journey bring you the most joy, regardless of the external outcomes? And third, if you could imagine your ideal scenario a year from now, what would it look like, and what steps can you take today to move closer to that vision?
Okay, we're gonna have to look at what you actually said there because I don't remember everything. Um, okay. Um, so first, what originally sparked my passion for creating content, and do you still feel connected to that initial spark? What created my passion for it was probably when we went to go see 54 concerts in a single year. And I really wanted to share what I was experiencing with all the shows and the festivals and the way it was changing my life, and inspired me to write a book that I am, still working through the first draft of. Um, and, just finding and meeting so many people along that path as well. And realizing how profound and unique each individual that I was meeting was, and wanting to share that. Do I feel connected to that initial spark right now? I don't know that I do. I mean, sometimes I feel that. I think overall I feel kind of like disconnected and combobulated. I might just be a little burnt out for right now, not just with this, but with other things in my life. But that might be part of it. Second, what specific outcomes of my content creation journey bring me the most joy, regardless of the external outcomes? Honestly, what has brought me the most joy has been working on it. Like working on it. Like, I think the thing that brought me the most joy recently within content was like working on this piece with my brother and working with my team to, work on the thumbnails and getting it all out right and it feeling really good and feeling aligned. And like, it's like, okay, cool. We're doing something cool and meaningful and it's working, um, artistically and creatively. And I'm getting like positive feedback. Like just that one comment I got from somebody who was like, this is like rad, makes a difference. Or seeing like a TikTok that I created do something and having people respond. I think so much of it's like the interactions that people give me that create such a tremendous ripple effect for myself to continue. And then it's hard when it's like there's not much coming through, especially because I'm shooting later at night too. It's like I'm not in my set heavy like inspiration zone either. So that's probably part of why I feel this way. And then third, if you could imagine my ideal scenario a year from now, what would it look like and what steps can you take today to move closer to that vision? Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I don't know if I have. Yeah, I mean, I'd love tens of thousands of subscribers on YouTube. That would be like my ideal scenario. And making content that I know is resonating with people, that's affecting people positively and meaningfully, and like that I feel like I've broken through the ceiling and like found something that was actually meaningful for both me, I guess, and the audience, and figured out how to actually do it correctly. Because it feels really good to create. It feels really good to put myself out there. It feels really good to do all those things. And it's really tricky when you don't get those results that you're actually looking for. But I'm just one person. And if you're a creator, if you're somebody who makes things that are meaningful to you or have done anything, I guess, meaningful in your life where you didn't see results right away, that you pushed through and found a way and found hope, leave a comment below and leave a suggestion for the topic of tomorrow's video. Hopefully, we'll keep this going. We've got at least 8 more videos left. I'm going to do those no matter what. So you'll definitely see me tomorrow, if nothing else. Ciao.